overcoming mental barriers. This business is all mental. This business is not physical. We get to throw patches on people, but nobody has any calluses. Nobody's got sore muscles or anything from building their super patch business. This business is mental, and sometimes that can be harder than the actual physical work, because the person that you're fighting against is you. And you sit back and go, gosh, how can that possibly be? You ever see those, I don't know, when you've got the angel on the right shoulder and the devil on the left shoulder, and they're going back and forth. That's for real. You have that self-talk, that negative self-talk and that positive self-talk with yourselves all the time. And these mental barriers, it's a real thing. And it's something that we all have to get over. Guys, when I first got started in this industry, and that was back in August of 1990 or September of 1990, it took me a long time. It took me a long time to get anything going. And part of the reason is because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't understand this industry, and it took me a long, long time to get anything started in my business. And I'm guessing some of you can relate. All right. I tried to do things on my own. I tried to figure things out myself. And I wasn't right most of the time. And of course I wanted it to work, and I was looking at what other people were doing. I'm like, why is everybody building except me? Why do people get customers so easily? And why do people bring new associates into the business? Back at the time, they were called distributors. Why are people getting distributors so much easier than I can? And I was trying to figure out what was holding me back. And just like a lot of people, despite having that burning desire to make things happen, I was afraid. I was afraid to do so. When I look back at it right now, I was afraid to do so. Unconsciously, I was stuck in my comfort zone. And how many times does that happen to us? Okay, well, you don't really know until you jump out of it. Because I said unconsciously, I was in my comfort zone, even though that wasn't a very comfortable place to be. So one of the things that we have to realize, you guys, is that when you are really feeling comfortable in your life, get nervous about that. Don't sit back and go, oh, my life is beautiful. I got this going on. I got this going on. I got this going on. That's a red flag. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's a red flag because you're not growing. The only way you can go is backwards from that point, right? And so when you're really, really comfortable, just all of a sudden snap out of it and go, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be this comfortable. It's not supposed to be this easy. And I know it's weird. It's a kind of a weird phenomenon to be, stuck in a rut, but not able to move. Have you guys ever had that dream where you were so scared that you couldn't even run? Have you had that dream? Well, I felt like I was living that dream when I was first building my business. I was so afraid that I didn't do anything. I was just scared to talk to people. I was afraid to set any appointments. I didn't do anything. And so I just stayed where I was. And you guys all know why this happens. Okay, and I just mentioned it. Obviously, it's fear. And fear is what stops people dead in their tracks. Fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of change, the fear of the unknown, the fear of success. I remember somebody told me one time, they said, yeah, people are afraid to make money. And I'm like, who are these people? Oh my gosh, how can you possibly be afraid of making money? But it's real, you guys. It's real. When I say fear of success, there are people out there that go, I wouldn't know what to do. That's why so many people who win the lottery, they lose all of their money in a relatively short period of time because they don't know how to handle it. All right, so there are certain things that you have to be aware of when you become successful. And I know success is it's relative. My idea of success might not be the same idea of your success. But the list goes on and on and on. And this is why, you get on calls like this and you hear people speak, but the bottom line is there's no secret formula. There's no shiny new trick for, that will do anything for you until you are willing to break through those mental barriers. Okay? And that's what makes it so difficult. If somebody would just say, well, all you have to do is do this. I'm like, well, okay, well, that sounds easier. It's easier said than done. There was a Roman philosopher called Seneca, and he once said, we are more often frightened than hurt. We suffer more from imagination than from reality. And that has never, ever been so true. You take a look at your prospect list today. And I'm looking at mine. I'm looking at mine on my desk right now. And I've got a bunch of people on there who said, yeah, this is great, Steve. I'm like, all right, get back to me. Let me know what the next step is. And it's been 24 to 48 hours with some people. And I'm like, well, if they really thought it was great, why didn't they call me back the next hour? Why didn't they call me back in at least the next day? So now I'm looking at my prospect list going, well, now I'm going to have to recontact these people. And my fear is they're not going to do it. It's like, well, listen, you're way better off knowing if they're in or they're out than having them just sit on your prospect list. And so every day I fight this, and I'm guessing you guys do too. I fight the fear of rejection. I fight the fear of failure. Because when I call these people today and they go, nah, Steve, that's just not for me. Well, what I have to realize is that they're not rejecting me. They're not rejecting, me personally or anything with me personally. What they're really rejecting is change. They don't want to change what they're doing to fit this into their schedule. I'm like, okay. And that's what I have. That's the the mental gymnastics that I have to play with myself to make sure that, I wake up the next day and I continue this fight, So here's the question. What is the best way to smash through this, I'm just going to call it self-imposed slump? What's the best way to do that? What is the best way to overcome these mental barriers? And the answer is action. Guys, it's action. It's all about taking action. Because when you take action, all of that false evidence appearing real, that's what fear stands for, goes away. It goes away. Because all you're looking for is closure. Just look for closure. And there's a really, really good chance that you're going to get the closure that you're looking for. Don't wait until you feel like it. Don't sit back and go, well, I just don't feel like doing it today. It's like, well, then you're never going to do it. All right? If you guys ever played that trick where you pick up the phone and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you dial the phone. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, boom, and you dial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, you start dialing. Or you put their number in and you wait for the very last number and you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, you hit it. And it's like, okay, I'm committed now. Let's go. Just take action. Guys, in my experience, you'll actually feel better after you do it than just looking at that list going, oh gosh, I've got to call this person. That anxiety of like, oh, but after you call the person, you feel a lot better. You already know what you should be doing. Okay? You're gonna feel better after you actually take the action. You already know what you're supposed to do. It's like going to the gym. You guys, I often, don't feel like going beforehand. When I get up at 5:15 and I look outside and it's freezing cold, it's pitch dark, I'm like, Steve, what the heck are you thinking? What are you thinking? And I say that to myself almost every day. I'm like, why do you do this to yourself? But afterwards, I never regretted going. So it's like, okay, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you push yourself and you go. Now, the gym thing is a little bit different because I love going there because I love being on the court. But it's that initial, oh my gosh, it's pitch dark. All right, I got to go do it. So here's something else that I've discovered. It is a lot easier to take action when you've got a proven plan to attract the right prospects. Guys, you all know what to do. We've talked about, discovery. So when I wake up now, and this is how it's so changed for me, but it's, oh my God, 33 and a half years. You should have this figured out by now, Steve. So it's like, I know how to talk to people. First of all, I know how to reach out to people. I know how to start conversations. And when we do have a conversation, I know what to say. And then after they make the commitment to jump into the business, I know what to do with them afterwards. I'm like, we got to get you qualified. And I'm going to have you plug into this. It's like there's a system. So it's a lot easier to take action when you've got a proven game plan. So my question to you is, do you know what to do every day? Do you know how to reach out to people? Do you know what to say? Do you have your story? And when somebody gets in the business, what do you do with them from there? Guys, with discovery, meaning you're going to find out what people's problems are, then you can provide the solution. There is no more wasting time trying to convince the naysayers and the skeptics who will never join anyways. All you're trying to do is provide a solution to somebody, and it's up to them to take it. And we do that over and over and over and over again. Just remember this, okay? When people tell you no, they're not saying no to you. They're not rejecting you. They're simply rejecting change.